Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. All right, you guys, again, today is a bunch of little stories, nothing that I feel like I'm going to be talking about for a long time, so we're going to call this a Top of the Blogs Quickies edition, okay, because each story is just a little short something. First story up, though, we got to talk about these the impeachment proceedings, okay? The scheduled vote is supposed to happen today. Not sure if it is going to happen today or not because the Democrats and the Republicans are still arguing back and forth whether or not they feel Congress should, push this impeachment proceedings any further. Of course, the Democrats are saying that, Congress needs to hold Trump accountable. You guys know that they've got all of these restrictions lately, so I'm gonna have to censor my mouth. Isn't that a shame? Okay, I need all my coins for 2019 December. So y'all know who I'm talking about, though. Y'all know what I want to say. Can't say it. Anyway, they're saying that Congress needs to hold them accountable. The Republicans are saying that this whole thing is actually an abuse of power on the Democratic side. So everybody's got their thing. Equally, both sides are appalled and flabbergasted that the other side would even, suggest something like this. Last night I was watching it on CNN. Everybody had so much to say. It continues on today, continuing to say so much. Like I said, the vote is supposed to happen today, but we do not know for sure if it is going to happen between sometime today and tomorrow, I guess I will say. And then, of course, we're all wondering if there is going to be a shutdown, of government, much like we had last year or 2 years ago? I'm not quite sure when it was, but you guys know when he shut down the federal government, many people suffered, even though it went on, a month or two, 2 months maybe, but you guys know, like I know, that 2 months of no paycheck can do some real damage. Most people are living check to check. So we're still trying to see if he's going to do something like that. It's the holidays, the end of the year. Yeah, there's a lot going on in y'all government, but we'll see. We'll see if they do continue on with this impeachment proceedings. I believe that they will. I believe they have enough support behind it to push it through. And we just gonna keep our good eye on it, you guys. So that's my little bit of talk about politics for today. All right, you guys, next story up is Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD dies at 21 years old. I didn't really know much about him. I had heard of the name, obviously. I knew who he was. I wouldn't have known him if he would have walked in front of me, but at least I knew the name. Sunday, Joe told me that Juice WRLD had died, that he had a seizure. He was at an airport or something like that. And as soon as he told me that, I just automatically assumed drugs, which is bad. But you guys know that this drug culture today is something horrendous. That whole entertainment, rap culture, they glorify drugs. They glorify taking drugs. Openly admit to it. Even Future, once he had gotten off of lean, still wanted people to think that he was on it because he felt like that would help him sell his music and that was keeping him creative. And, so this is the mentality of many rappers out there, who are, is it casually taking drugs, I should say? It's really, you think of drugs now as like drinking alcohol. People are popping pills and, okay with it. It used to be a dirty secret and it's not anymore. It's too sad though, because I had heard him speak a couple of times on the radio, in different interviews, and he always sounded like, he had good sense. And he even kind of denounced, that whole culture and just really trying to, not trying to be that typical drug head rapper. But now, the story that I heard, you guys, was that he was on a flight and they had gotten word that when they landed that their plane was going to be raided. They were on a private jet, him and his team, and it was going to be raided when he landed. So they're saying that Juice WRLD in his hurrying up trying to hide these drugs, he took a bunch of Percocet pills. Now, I do not know if that is true or not, but that is what the story is that's going around. Honestly, if you ask me, okay, even though he's a kid, he's 21 years old, you have got to know, you got to know that if you take a bunch of pills that you are going to have some sort of reaction to it, and it is up to and including death. You know, so if that is what he was trying to do, I mean, you wanted to die before you got caught with these drugs that still was found in your system. And there were other drugs and I guess paraphernalia. And I think I read something about some guns or something. I'm not quite sure, but there definitely was other like marijuana on the plane. Yeah, when I read that, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. That can't be true. That cannot be true. That is the story that's going around, and that when he got off of the plane, of course, he had the reaction, he had the seizures, and he died. But you guys, we still gonna take that with a grain of salt until we finally, you know, we really, really get the update. But nobody can deny that the drug culture with these very young rappers is so, it's so sexy, I guess I should say, you know, that nobody really blinks anymore. And it's getting to the point where somebody really needs to say something. Like, this is getting serious. We are losing these kids younger and younger, especially these extreme talents. I mean, I don't know how extremely talented he was, but a lot of people will say that he was. And, you know, for it to end like this, 21 years old. How many times have I done stories about, you know, these young kids overdosing, dying, and things like that? Something has got to be done. I don't know if people who have been there and done that need to guide them a little bit better. You know, is it a responsibility of the industry for them to kind of get a hold of these young kids and just kind of let them know, like, hey, you need to back up off of all this drug use. You know, it is not going to end well for you. I'm not quite sure what they need to do, how it needs to happen, but it needs to happen, you guys, because these drugs are just taking them left and right. I didn't even write down his real name, and I'm sorry, that is so disrespectful. I'll put it on the screen, though. But like I said, 21 years old. Okay, I'm sure he leaves behind a host of family and friends and fans everywhere. Rest in peace to Juice WRLD. All right, you guys, so let's talk about Lizzo. I've talked about Lizzo quite a bit. She might be working her way towards the let's retire her until something really, really big happens. But I just want to talk about the fact that, you know, a lot of times when these entertainers blow up, you know, real quick. Now, for however long Lizzo was around in the background and doing her thing and, you know, grinding it out, you know, in little small bars and clubs and performing and all of that. Okay, we can say this last year has been a huge year for her. I mean, she's Times Entertainer of the Year. Okay, that's how big this has been for her this year. A lot of times when we have people that catapult to, you know, superstardom so quickly, they start to make questionable decisions in an effort to, you know, maybe feel like they are still staying in contact with their real self, or is it for shock value? You know, is it in their mind thinking that they are promoting themselves positively? You know, they start doing things that you just be sort of like, it's about time for somebody to have a little sit down and chat with you. We know what she's built herself on, the fact that she's a big girl, she's unapologetic, you know, she's confident, she's sexy, she's beautiful. She is a beautiful girl. We know that she has that in her. So part of her, I can't think of the word. I don't want to say shtick, but part of her thing is, you know, she's going to be sexy just like some of these other IG models, or, you know, girls out here who show their bodies, who might be more slender, you know, a size 10, a size 8, you know, whatever, big booty, big boobs, whatever. She's going to do the same because she's proud of her body just as the other women are as well. And that's fine, you guys. Honestly, that is. I mean, some of the things that I see her post, you know, her on the couch and her ass up in the air and her doing all of this, it it doesn't bother me. There's sort of like a time and a place for things like that. If that's how she wants to put herself out in social media, you know, that's out there forever. And that's another thing a lot of these young people don't realize is images that you put of yourself out there when you're younger might not be the same images that you want out there once you are grown and married and have kids and all of this. You know, we don't think about that. We older think about that, but younger, they don't think about that because they live in the moment. They live in the now. They don't realize that they may not be this person. They definitely won't be this person in 10, 15, 20 years, you know. But anyway, she puts those images of herself out there, fine. But there is a time and a place for everything. And the fact that she was at a Lakers game, you guys, she didn't even have on something that was sheer. She looked like she had on underwear, thongs going up her ass, a jacket, or some sort of shirt that stopped at her waist. So her whole ass was out with this thong going up the middle of her crack of her ass. And then she looked like she had on sheer stockings to me. It didn't even look like pants. And that is just not okay. Okay. And it's not because I feel prudish and I feel like you should cover yourself up, but you are at a fucking basketball game. Where and when is it okay for you to show up with your ass out? You got families there. You got kids. Look, I can go to a strip club and be like, wow, that girl really looks good. Okay. I can go to a club and somebody be, you know, very minimally dressed and have all of their shit out. Like, I'm okay with it there. Okay. But at a basketball game, no. And on top of that, who else can do that but other than a celebrity? Because if I had took my ass down there, you know, and just decided I was going to walk up into the Staples Center with just a jacket and my ass out, it is not happening. They're not letting me in. So, you know, it's too bad that she was up there. She turns around, she does her ass. It's entirely too much. Okay. You can shake your ass and do all of that when the time and the place is correct. I have no problem with it. But at a basketball game, no. And why nobody tells her that that's okay? She made it all the way to her seat like that. Did she have something else on over that and then took it off when she sat down? Like, what is going on here? So now I'm starting to feel like, okay, Lizzo girl. Okay, girl, come on, talk to your girl for a second, okay? We need to dial it back a little bit. We need to dial it back a little bit. Basketball games is just Don't have your ass out at a game. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And I know that she came out and did a live and she was upset and she was talking about her inspiration and talking about Rihanna being out and, you know, with her ass out in that very sheer sparkly dress, and many other celebrities that we see do it. But again, a time and a place. Rihanna is she's not at a Lakers game with her ass out. She was at a fashion awards thing. She had that dress on, and yeah, it was very shocking and revealing, but you're at a fashion awards ceremony, and still I felt like that dress was very tastefully done. I don't think that what Lizzo had on was tasteful at all. So that is, that's kind of just my, you know, coming from a place of love, like the intelligent adjacent said, you know, but that's really how I feel about it. I like her music and everything, but I'm starting to feel like the pressure of her success is getting to her one way or another. And it might be time for her team to just be like, come on, you're going to have to chill. We've seen it happen to the best of them. It happens to a lot of them. And she is just her turn right now, but she's going to have to get it together, y'all. I'm sorry, you just can't be doing shit like that. All right, you guys, next story. Matthew Knowles, he's got this book coming out. It's called Destiny's Child, The Untold Story. And he's talking about their days, you know, Destiny's Child's days, and him being their manager. So I'm assuming that he has quite a bit of stories in there. Probably is a pretty interesting read. He is saying that it's the untold story. The one story that has picked up a lot of steam and a lot of people are talking about is him talking about Jagged Edge being on tour with Destiny's Child at one time, and how members of the Jagged Edge group were harassing members of Destiny's Child. And supposedly it had gotten so bad that Kelly and Beyonce had a problem with it. So they called him and told him that they were all on a tour bus together. All right. And that I believe they said that he didn't. I don't know if he said the names, but the rumor is that it was the twins in Jagged Edge that were around 21, 22 years old, was in a relationship with Latavia and Latoya. And evidently, Beyonce and Kelly had issue with it. You know, he wasn't specific in what the problems were. They just said that they felt like they were being harassed. That probably wasn't even the words that was used back then, but this is how you guys can kind of understand it today. That they were being harassed all on this tour bus, and that Matthew Knowles had to step in because, you know, he's got a responsibility to his girls. They were only 16 at the time, and these guys are grown men, 21, 22 years old. I'm thinking to myself, like, first of all, why did you have all of them in such close quarters? You got them all on a tour bus. You got these hot and fast and sexy entertainer girls, singer girls on this bus with Jagged Edge, who at the time was pretty big. Okay, why would you even have them all together in the first place? You know, you had to have some sort of idea that something like this could happen. But anyway, he removed them from the bus, removed them. I guess, did he say from the tour? Whatever he did, they was gone out in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It was just that serious. And that was when the breakdown and the eventual breakup of the group happened, because Latavia and Latoya were pissed, okay? I guess they probably felt, I mean, not probably, we've heard the stories. They've always felt that Beyonce, of course, was the favorite, and Kelly as well, and that they were kind of the bald-headed stepchilds. The bald-headed stepchilds with Destiny's Child, you know, over on the side. So that was when everything started to break down, because supposedly these girls were actually in relationships with them. It wasn't like they were just kind of fooling around. This was their boyfriends. This was their girlfriends. They were together, you know, regardless of the age differences and everything. They were, you know, together, and everybody knew it. So I guess they felt like they were being targeted by Beyonce and Kelly, that it wasn't fair and all that. So you guys know the rest of the story. But yeah, he's going around, he's doing interviews. This was a Vlad TV interview that he did where he talked about, so many people walking around by my job right now. I'm sorry, I keep on looking over to the side. But he did this interview with Vlad TV, and he was talking about it. So this book is coming out. I'm not quite sure. He just had a book come out in November that was talking about public relations and things, I believe. So Matthew Knowles is on the go, right? He's been out there. He keeps himself out there. He talked about his breast cancer and all of that. So that is the story. I mean, are you guys really super interested still in this stuff? I mean, you know, everybody has moved on. Everybody's grown, married, kids. Do we even care like that anymore? You know, I mean, I guess people do care, but anyway, that's the story on Matthew Knowles. Will you guys be purchasing the book? Again, the name is Destiny's Child, The Untold Story. Next quickie story is this, you know, supposed beef between Andy Cohen and NeNe Leakes. It don't even feel like it's a story worth reporting to me, but I'm going to go on and say it because y'all asked me to talk about it. But, you know, evidently, NeNe was on Watch What Happens Live sometime last year, like normal. And she had, I'm sorry. She did a show in LA called the Big Doorbell Show. All right. And she had on this dress. And I guess people remembered this dress in particular because her strap had broke. And so Andy Cohen was commenting on a recent Watch What Happened Live show that NeNe had the same dress on in one of her confessional looks for this season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, now NeNe took issue with this because she was just like, what's the problem? Because damn, I mean, I wore the dress one time, and why can't I wear it again? And why are you basically saying that he's picking on her? And I mean, I'd be like, who the fuck cares either, but you got to remember, this is Hollywood, and everything is, you can't wear something twice. So it's not surprising that he would say something like that. And yeah, if I was NeNe, I'd probably have an attitude or be just like, oh, fuck you, to him as well. But other than that, it's just sort of like, it just is what it is. You know, NeNe said that everybody is always picking on her and that when she says something back, then it's a problem. You know, but I'm just sort of like, it's not that big of a deal. You know, I mean, maybe it is in certain circles where that kind of stuff matters, but to just a regular Joe, just to regular me and you, honey, I know y'all done seen this, y'all done seen this scarf. I've had this thing since 2004. Okay, so I know y'all have seen this quite a bit. I break it out every single winter. That whole not wearing something twice. I mean, it must be super stressful to have to be famous in Hollywood these days. So many rules that you got to adhere to. Child, wear what you want. Congratulations are in order to Cardi B. Okay, she is the first female rapper to grace the cover of US Vogue. Okay, I know them Kardashians is really, I mean, there's a lot of people actually that will not ever get the Vogue cover for the US editions. I think, what's her name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Annie. Is that her name? You know, the editor-in-chief over there, I think she said she will never put the Kardashians on her cover. But then here we got Cardi B, who's just a, you know, regular schmegular degular girl, who's not that anymore, but you guys know what I mean, that she's been able to grace the cover, her and her daughter Culture. That's a big deal. So congratulations to her. I know a lot of people probably won't be happy about that, but that's who they decided. They had the legendary photographer Annie Leibovitz, or is it Leibovitz? Annie Leibovitz, I believe is the way you say her last name, is the one who did the shoot. And of course, they have an interview in there where they talk to her about her life and her relationship with Offset and all of that. And you guys can pick up the article yourself and read it for yourself. But congratulations to her. Again, this is a big deal. And for all the people that don't really like her, it's a whole bunch of people that love her in big places. So as long as she continues to be loved by those people, then she will continue to do well. But you guys know, we know that this industry will use you up and then kick you to the curb. They did do it to Little Kim when Nicki Minaj came along. Okay, they did do it to Nicki Minaj when Cardi B came along. And they will definitely do it to Cardi B when the next young, hot, you know, tender thing comes along and rap again. But right now it's her time. So congratulations to her on the new cover, the January issue, I believe, of US Vogue. Yesterday I was sent by Love and Hip Hop. What is the name of their blog? I'm gonna put it on the screen. But they always reach out to me in my Instagram DMs and ask me certain things, you know, and I just talk to them a lot of times. Anyway, they reached out to me yesterday and told me that the Puerto Rican princess Jocelyn Hernandez is going to be back on Love and Hip Hop. And you guys, I tell you, I was so excited. Jocelyn is missed. It's going to be interesting that she's going to go down there to Love and Hip Hop Miami, because you guys remember all summer you guys kept on being in my comments and saying that Love and Hip Hop Miami was canceled, and I was like, they did not cancel the show. The show might not be the best as far as the franchise cities, but they had not canceled it. And now they brought in Jocelyn Hernandez, baby, okay, to really revive. And I am excited. I'm excited to see it. Now, I don't know exactly how this happened. It was so quiet. Like, they did not, I feel like they must have just inked some sort of deal on this, or they just really kept that shit quiet, because did anybody know? I mean, there's been rumors that Jocelyn was returning. Actually, I thought that she was going to be coming to Atlanta, but there's really no reason for her to be here, because I think that Stevie J is going to be mostly in LA. He really has no reason to be on Atlanta too much anymore, unless you talk about Mimi. But really, why is Mimi on the show anymore? You know? So Jocelyn doesn't really have anybody to bounce off of on there, but we do know that she's been in Miami for real, living her for real life for the last few years. So it only made sense for her to go to that franchise. And I really wish I knew. I wish I could have been there for the conversation between her and Mona, because you guys know that Mona, even though you've never really heard stories about Mona being like cutthroat or anything like that, something about her strikes me that she's not the most forgiving. And I believe that Jocelyn really burned that bridge. I mean, because for them to cut her off of Atlanta, which was really bringing in views for that show, Mona just cut her losses and was like, absolutely not, she's not coming back. Okay. But you know what a difference a day makes. Okay. Less views and less money. Less views for Mona, less money for Jocelyn. Okay, sometimes that little mixture will bring a whole bunch of humility. Okay, and folks get to see in the error of their ways and really trying to work it out. So, you know, I believe that Jocelyn has matured a lot. I mean, we'll see for sure. She's gonna have to keep that spice in her to kind of you know, to give the people what they want. But I think also we are wanting to see this other Jocelyn where, you know, she's a mom now and she's, you know, we want to see that other side too. Now you can bring the shit, bring the fool of fucking niggatry, but also want to see you as a mom. She's in a stable relationship with this guy. Like, we want to see that part too. I don't know what's gonna happen with her. Don't she have a show coming on Zeus? But I've been hearing bad things about Zeus lately. You know, that they were, like, I guess Tokyo Tony was having problems with getting paid, and I don't even really see them talking too much about Jocelyn's show anymore. But it's supposed to be coming on Zeus, where she's going to be in a strip club. So I don't know how they're going to parlay all this together. If she's dropped the whole Zeus deal, trying to, you know, be on Love and Hip Hop Miami. But yeah, for sure, you guys, she will be back, and I will dust up my impressions because you guys know Jocelyn is one of my claims to fame, okay? But I haven't done it in so long, but it's pretty easy for me to dust that one off. But yeah, congratulations to her. I'm happy for her. I just hope that this coming back is not a negative experience for her, because Jocelyn, you know, she's been through some stuff, and we've been through it with her, and we've been seeing the spiraling out of control and all of that. So hopefully she's got a handle on it. It feels like she did, you know, that she got herself together. And now hopefully we'll be able to see it on Love and Hip Hop Miami. And Miami will be starting January 6th. Same like they did last year. Remember last year this year it started January 1st. I remember because I was annoyed that I was doing a show on New Year's Day or the day after New Year's or something like that. But it was right at the beginning. So again, they're coming on, and Love and Hip Hop New York and Miami will run concurrently together. So it's going to be busy for me on Tuesdays. But you know, it's been done before, so we'll just have to buckle down. But yeah, welcome back to Jocelyn Hernandez. They're saying that Steve Harvey has taken his talk show talents to Facebook Watch. You guys, that's a relatively new platform, but it has been out. I think the what's the basketball family? The one Big Baller brand. What's his name? What's their name? The one that was playing for the, you know, the three brothers. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna put it on the screen so y'all ain't all got to tell me. But you know, they had a show on Facebook Watch, and then of course we know that Red Table Talk, I believe the original platform is Facebook Watch, right? And now I guess with the success of those two shows, and there's other shows I guess that I don't know about, but other things happening on Facebook Watch, Steve Harvey decided to take his talents there once his show was canceled from NBC back in June. You guys remember they were trying to make way for Kelly Clarkson, who just got renewed for a second season. I tried to watch that show and I was just like, ooh, it's just so, I was, yeah, you know, the whole show, I was just like, this is uncomfortable for me. Like, I feel like she's a cornball a little bit, you know? So, but she is anyway, and maybe that's what makes her endearing, but it's different than, you know, Ellen's cornballishness. It's something else. Anyway, it seems to be doing well enough, you guys, so because it is on the second season, so good for her. But anyway, he will now be on there. It's also starting on January 6th, and they're being produced by, let's see, it's going to be produced by Endeavor Content. Okay, the first batch will be for 10 weeks, and there's going to be multiple segments that will air weekly in those 10 weeks, okay? And they say, quote, get ready for insightful perspectives, unfiltered responses, and surprising takes on the everyday issues affecting the audience. Steve Harvey will interview remarkable people doing amazing things, get the real story of viral sensations, and get personal with some of the biggest stars of film, TV, and music, end quote. Okay, so you guys get yourselves together. Facebook Watch, January 6th. I think it's called Steve Watch. Next quickie story, Future. They're saying that his baby mamas did take DNA test and posted that, damn it, you are the father. In my best Maury voice. Oh, I can't talk. Yeah, it seems that there were two women in question that were saying that he was the baby daddy and that he had added them to their, to his harem of women that he already had that claimed to be, or we knew as a fact was his other baby mamas. Eliza Seraphin, also known as Eliza Rain, okay, from Florida. And then there was another girl named Cindy Parker from Texas. Eliza said that he was the father to her daughter Rain, and Cindy said that he's the father to her son Legend. Even though Future denied, well, he's always denied Eliza and said that she was lying and all of that stuff. I don't think he ever even commented on the Cindy girl, but these two women both supposedly had DNA tests, posted them both, and that, yeah, he supposedly is the baby father. Now, I don't think that Future has responded to either one of these supposed results. We know that he is living his life and his relationship as of late, okay, with Lori Harvey. Looks like that they are back together. He's been posting her a lot. I'm sure he does that to get on the nerves of those said, impending baby mamas. So that's that. But, I don't know. Why are you women still getting pregnant by Future? Why? And then, you guys, Keyshia Cole had quite a few choice words for OT Genesis. Actually, she didn't really have choice words for him, but she was clearly pissed at the fact that he redid her song Love. Love, never knew what I was missing, but as soon as we start kissing, I'm fine. I had to touch the screen because my phone is trying to die, you guys. So we're going to wrap it on up. But anyway, you guys remember that song. It was a big hit for Keyshia Cole. Probably one of the most memorable songs that she's had. She's had a lot of good songs, but that's one that sticks in the memory banks and will be in the memory books. Well, we saw a few weeks ago OT Genesis. He was at a club. He was playing around. They was playing that song. He was on the dance floor, clearly drunk with his homeboys. And instead of the chorus, love, I took that shit on alto for y'all on that round. He redid it. Instead of saying love, he was saying cuz. Okay, now I just, I laughed at it because that was actually funny. I didn't think anything else was going to come of it. He's with his homeboys. Like I said, they was drunk. They was singing, he's talking about, his banging days, I guess. But he decided to get in the studio and actually make a song about it. Now, it's a spoof song. It's a song I don't think is going to get any legs or anything. I mean, we listened to it. We saw the video that he posted and listened to the song and everything, but nobody is going to care about that song in a few days or a few weeks. People will have moved on to something else. But, you're still going to always remember Keyshia Cole's. And if anything, that song probably helped her by, reminding people that they want to hear the original song or recommending it in your playlist and things like that. So while she was mad, I understand. That's her baby. She probably has some emotional connection to that song. I mean, I get all of that. As an artist, you want to protect your shit and you don't want people doing it. But it wasn't that big of a deal. So I guess after she thought about it and saw that maybe she was benefiting from this, OT Genesis putting this thing out, she did back off and say, maybe I did overreact. And the song it's not nothing good. I mean, we talking about banging on songs, really? Like, it's a spoof song. And I don't think it'll do anything more than what it's done in this last week, or week or two, and then that'll be it. But, so It's all right, Keyshia, girl. We still love your all of that screaming and yelling that you was doing. I said, girl, who told you that run was cute? Video is actually turning out to be longer than I thought because I got so many stories. Okay, Angela Rye and Common. So they were together, then they broke up, and it looked like they were back together again. But by the time Angela Rye turned 40 years old, they weren't together again. So I told you guys before, and I'm going to say it again, is I'm starting to believe there's something wrong with Common. Okay, why is this fine man can't never stay with no woman? Okay, because he's about my age. And by now, or just a couple of years younger maybe. But it's just sort of like, why do you bounce around so much? So I'm gonna need some of these exes to come out and let us know, like, what is T on do, girl? Because why can't he stay? So anyway, now they're saying that he's dating Tiffany Haddish. Okay, and I mean, fine, good for them. You know, they said that he was at her black mitzvah. Was that the name of it? It's called Black Mitzvah. You know, she had that special for Netflix. They said that he was at the party for that, and they've been seen at a couple of other social events and parties kind of together, leaving together and things like that. I mean, I'm not mad at neither one of them. I mean, they're both single, and so if that's who you want to see, I mean, I know that Common can't be he looked like he might be a good time, you know. He's so sexy to me, but then, you know, then you wonder, like, well, why he can't stay with nobody? So then you be like, girl, is the package on the outside not the same as the one on the inside? So that's the rumor that's going around, that Tiffany and Common are seeing each other. When I see the two of them together, though, it doesn't, you know, I don't put them together. I thought that him and Angela Rye, or even when I saw him with Serena, like, I could see the chemistry there. It's strange seeing him with Tiffany Haddish. But maybe. I ain't mad, though, Tiffany, girl. Get what you can while you can. The real estate company, St. John Properties, okay? Excuse me. They had their annual Christmas party, and their 198 employees that did attend the Christmas party thought it would be just like any other Christmas party, where they would regularly get like a little holiday bonus. But you know, it was just a celebration for the accomplishments of what they did, you know, all year. They thought it would be just like any other year-end party. But this one was a little bit different. They're saying that the owner of St. John Properties, his name is... The company founder and chairman, Edward St. John, thanked all of his employees for helping them build over 20 million square feet of retail, office, and warehouse real estate across 8 states in the United States, that their goals were met and exceeded. And as a thank you to all of these employees, they had $10 million, and that they were going to split it and give it to all of the employees according to how many years that they had been working there, which is only fair. Okay. So you've had people that probably just started a week or two before, it probably only got $100 or two. And then all the way up to those who was at retirement age and been there for 30 years, okay, or 20 years, got somewhere close to $270,000, okay? And that everybody that was at that party was handed a red envelope, opened up and saw the check for whatever it was. They said that it averaged per person $50,000, okay? But of course, there were many that got less and there were many that got more. To me, even though I would have been like, damn, if I would have been nice to get that $270,000 or $100,000 or whatever, really, honestly, to me, any money that I was not expecting and somebody gave it to me, you know, at the end of the year, on top of the bonus that they normally would get anyway. I mean, that is a blessing. That is a blessing. And I would have been very happy even if they handed me a $500 check, baby, because that could have gone towards whatever I needed it to go toward. You can't help but be happy for people that have been there for 30 years and have grinded, and now they are also being rewarded by this person who did not have to do this. Could have split it with his higher ups or gave it to, you know how that goes. A lot of times management or executives end up getting the money, and the little people, you know, it don't trickle down to them. But, you know, I think it's fair when you talk about years of service and what people do. So I'm not mad at it. And congratulations to all of those people that came up from that. And also a big shout out to Edward St. John, who was generous in that 10 million. You know, if he was able to give 10 million so freely, he must have made a guap of money. Okay, so good for them. Okay, it's going to be a happy end to this decade for many of those employees at St. John Properties. I guess we're going to give a fist pump of righteousness. Okay, that old black girl magic. They're saying that Miss America, Nia Imani Franklin, Miss Teen USA, Kaylee Garris, Miss USA, Chesley Christ, and Miss Universe, Zozobini Tunzi. For the first time in history, all of these women on these respective beauty pageants, they are all black women. Okay, so that is an achievement. There are many people who thought that that would never happen, and it is now happening. So like I said, fist pump of righteousness. Okay, it's kind of strange for me to do this though, because I feel like I can't believe that they still do those type of pageants, beauty pageants. I know that they're trying to sway it away from the whole beauty aspect and trying to move it more towards humanitarian efforts and educational background and what these girls have achieved. But there's still that underlying beauty element that lays there that just kind of makes you feel like they parading these women on stage, for us to look at. Now, I will admit, I used to love me a pageant. I used to watch them all the time when I was younger. I even dreamed about, being even Vanessa Williams or Kenya Moore. Like, those were the things that we did back then. But today, that is nothing on my radar anymore. But evidently it still is, because these stories are still out there. So, I don't want to rain on nobody's parade, though. It's definitely an accomplishment. And it is a, step in the right direction. I'm hoping they're not just trying to make some sort of statement by just giving it to black women. But I won't even diminish these black women's talents and the things that they've been able to achieve and be successful at. If they won, I am going to be willing to bet that they deserved this win. But you guys know how it is when you start looking, you just sort of be like, now, what are they trying to pacify now? Okay, but we're going to take it. We're going to take it. But what I want to know is, do you guys still watch these pageants? Do these things still really, really matter to you? Okay, now that they've taken the focus off of beauty, do you guys pay attention to it more? Or are you kind of like me and just sort of like, why are we still doing this? But since I brought it in as a black girl magic, then I'll just fist pump of righteousness, you guys. You just ain't gonna get enough of this black girl magic now, why are you? Rock stars, yeah, this is much longer than I thought, but it was definitely a segment of quickies, you guys. Let me get on back to work. We do this every single week, so make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars, bye.